Why would your mom be angry with that?
I don't know. It looks pretty, right?
What's the most painful spaces?
Well, nipples, one of them, that's for sure. Palms, really painful. I have like everything by experience. So, you know, like growing area is really painful. Your butt crack is painful. Your head is painful. Well, everything is painful. Oh. My name is Chiwon An. I do tattoos in Calgary, Canada, specialized in black and gray realism. So I was born and raised in Korea. I was a student and I went to military. I was Marine for 2 years. After finishing the military, I was lost. So, you know, just came to Canada just for experience, whatever, just learning English or whatever experience I could get. And I got tattoo on my shoulder and that dragged me into the tattoo. I really liked it, wanted to get more tattoos. But in Korea, it's just tough to get or like have a lot of tattoos and get a job or doing normal life. So I was thinking, okay, well, what can I do if I want to get more tattoos? And I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna stay in Canada, get more tattoos, then probably I can start tattooing so that I can have that in lifestyle. That's how I did, and here I am.
So you became a tattoo artist so that you could get more tattoos?
That's right, so that's how it started. My thought process was like, okay, if I do tattoos, then who cares if I have so many tattoos or not, you know? That was the beginning of it.
So what did your family think about you becoming a tattoo artist?
Well, they thought it was a joke. I got a shoulder tattoo that was like 15, maybe 16 years ago. Soon after I got my half sleeve, and that time I showed it to my parents, and they were like so upset and they disowned me, and you know they wanted to disown me, and you know that was like basically disaster. And I visited a very short time in Korea, and I just made my parents sad and came back here, and then I basically didn't talk about it for a decade. Doing tattoos or getting tattoos or things like that, and I was hiding it whole time.
So your family didn't know that you were doing tattoos?
Well, the end of it, they knew it, but then I didn't really say that I was doing. Back then I was doing part-time tattooing anyway, so I was having all different jobs and try to immigrate here, so I had to go through the schooling, I had to go having some work experience, what government says, so that I can be qualified for immigration. So I was working at a job. I was doing the mortgages broker at a bank. I was janitor, I was cashier, I was cook, like you name it, like whatever makes me money. While I was doing it, I was doing tattoos as well, but I omit that part of it and then tell everything else. Yeah,
so
yeah.
You told them that you were doing the job and then you were
That's right.
secretly tattooing.
That's right, yeah.
Undercover tattoo
Yeah,
artist.
yeah.
So now that you're established and successful, what do they think about it?
Well, actually, they saw my lifestyle about 3-4 years ago. So I've been tattooing. I started tattooing in 2009, and then I was part-time for a few years, switched to full-time about 10 years ago. But up until 3 years ago, my parents didn't believe or trust me that I'm actually doing good in this profession until they actually saw my lifestyle. Everybody thinks that, you know, like tattoo art is just having party or, you know, joking around and, you know, things like that. It's not serious job. But my parents came here and then they saw the lifestyle. Basically, I was working like 2-3 full-time job. I was working whole time, really grind and really hustle. They saw I'm getting some awards from the conventions and getting some recognition from people and stuff like that. So after they saw it, they rethought about this career and myself. So they are okay now. But yeah, up until that point, it was just I was horrible son to them, I guess. Yeah, well, before even do that, I was just actually calculating 10 years ago, not calculating, but then to show them how much I can actually make. And they thought it was joke, Yeah. Just to convince them that I wanted to tattoo, but then that didn't work out anyway. But actually, I didn't know how much they're actually making, but then I could see they're making more than I was making anyway. I don't know, I was drawing when I was a kid. I learned, my friend's mom was drawing teacher. I think I was maybe like grade 2 or 3 or something like that. And we lived in the same apartment, and she was doing home-based business, teaching drawing for the kids and stuff like that. When I started drawing or painting, my background is still life, pencil drawing. So black and gray is more comfortable for me. But I did a lot of colors too. Study about colors and getting, all these color tattoos to study and learn. But black and gray is more appealing to me. I like the fact that when you do the black and gray, when it was fresh and when it's healed, the settling into the skin, that process and healed product, I'm really fascinated about it. So, that's what I like now. Who knows if I like the color later on, maybe I switch again. But I did a lot of color realism or Asian style tattooing before, but now I'm just focusing on realism, black and gray.
What's the favorite tattoo that you've ever done or something?
There are a few things. I like doing their family pets or family member portraits, because there's something every time they bring in different reference photos. Their families are all different. They look different, or facial expression is all different. So whenever they bring in, it's just kind of different. And also when I do them, the reaction is priceless. It could be memorial, it could be their loved ones, it could be, whatever. Then, it's just kind of different reaction I get when I tattoo that. So I like that. Sometimes they're really emotional, they're crying. Even during the process, they just vent out their emotion about the incidents they had, or the relations, or things like that. It's just pretty interesting.
So as a tattoo artist, you're kind of like a therapist too.
I guess so. We say pain therapy, but I think it's not about the pain, it's about the connection in between clients and the tattoo artists. Because when they're getting tattooed, they're gonna sit in the chair for hours and they're in pain, so they become really vulnerable, and they tend to open up a little bit more when they're in pain. So in that way, after they vent out, I think they just feel better. Lots of people just say it's a pain therapy, but I think it's not about just the pain. It's about venting out, and they just don't have that much of space or place or person to actually talk about for hours like that. And it's just like I become their one audience, listening all that what they have to say, and then they just vent out, right? So.
Do you think people come to you sometimes to talk?
Not specifically just for talking. No, I don't think so.
No.
But I don't think so. Yeah, they just come for tattoo, but then that just happened without us knowing it.
Has anyone really hated the tattoo that you gave them?
I hope There's no one, but I know like at the beginning of my career, I know that I made a mistakes, you know. I was just doing straight outline letters on a girl's wrist right here. But then I was nervous, so I was just trying to make the straight outline, but I just couldn't make the outline, so it was all shaky and stuff. I could see her face right away, she didn't like it, but then I just didn't know what to do either. So I'm like, okay, well, just pay me and just go, right? And then after that, I was, you know, I couldn't sleep for days and days, you know. Yeah, I took it seriously, so, you know, definitely it wasn't the style, but yeah, that was horrible. A few other stuff, actually, by mistake. Mistake stuff is just funny stuff. I think every tattoo artist go through this one too. So, this is on a girl too. This is even more horrible because it's a bigger tattoo and it was across the chest. So it was a letter. So I forgot what it said, but anyway, two phrases. One phrase here, one phrase here. There was my apprentice and me tattooing and the client, the lady. We checked it before we tattoo. So what it says exactly, spells right and everything, we checked. And everything was right. So we put that stencil on her chest and then we double checked, triple checked, all three of us. So my apprentice checked, everything was correct. And she checked, everything was correct. I checked, everything was correct. So we started tattooing. I started tattooing. So I finished the one phrase and then started the second phrase and I felt something wrong. I said, fuck. And she said, don't joke about it. I'm like, I'm not joking. This is fucked. I just made a mistake. And she goes, what? And we realized we put same phrase twice here. And then started tattooing, but then I started already second phrase, which is same phrase that I just tattooed. And I'm like, fuck, what do I do, right? And then I'm like, fuck, this tattoo is free, I'm gonna do the free cover up right now. And you know, like I just had to do the cover up right away. And yeah.
So that's gotta be a bit of a panicked feeling.
Oh man, like sweating and shit. That was horrible. If I think back, it's a funny story, but that time at the moment, oh yeah, I was sweating. You know, like those like first timer. I mean, my beginning of career, I didn't know better anyway. So you know, I was taking tattooing seriously. So those little mistake, I was really, you know, frustrated and couldn't sleep for days and stuff. But there is a point that you get little confident now that you feel like, oh, I can do this, I can do this, I can do that, that's no problem. And then did it and then didn't come out the way that I was thinking, then that's also the, you know, the problem. And I did someone's wife portrait and it just didn't come out the way that I was thinking. And his wife portrait, you know, is important, right? So I was just comparing for the photos and tattoo that I did, and everything was correct. So I did all the shading, all the darks, all the lights, everything was correct. But because it's tattoo, placement is really important. So I did it little oversized on the forearm, so the end of the face is just rolled down to the side of it. So because it's rolled, it just looks different, even though I was doing everything perfect. And then I just couldn't. I was sick for 4 days. Those kind of little mistake reminds me of my my early career. That time, my regret that time was I shouldn't get paid for it. I should done it just for free. But I took the money, you know, because I didn't know what to do. Like, just give me the money and just fuck out of here, right? But always that was back of my mind. So, you know, like I just needed to be honest to the client. So I'm like, okay, well, I think this is a little bit wrong. So I just recovered my sickness from the tattoo. Like I was sick for like 3 or 4 days and just
you were sick because
of that tattoo, that thinking about it and just made me sick actually. I called up after that. After healing, that I just wanted to do a few things just to make it correct. But like he didn't think that it was, wrong or anything. But then just me that, critique myself or things. But I don't know, he didn't say anything to me. But I called up and then I said, I'm gonna fix something stuff. And, I actually talked to him how I feel about it. And then we actually put other decoration on the face. So, everybody knows that it's his wife. But also I kind of hide all the mistakes or, things that I don't like under that decoration. So that's that. So that was experience too. Alright. I actually have a story about this painting here. So I bought this one from Korea on the street. So more very old style of Korean house. I was starting to making money by tattooing, and in this industry usually minimum charge is anywhere between $100 to $200. It can be $300. If they are well known, and depending on style it can be even more. Even if you get one line or a little letter or something like that, then you're gonna get the minimum payment, which is 100, 200, 300, whatever you charge. However, this painter in Korea, he was older, probably my dad generation, maybe early 60 or I don't know. He looked a little older on the street doing paintings, oil paintings. And he was having all these paintings that he did on the wall, but he was sitting maybe just on the corner of this station, really small space. While he was painting, then he tried to sell this painting. But this one was about maybe $20 with a frame. If you think about all the currencies and all that stuff, Korea is not the cheap, but then he was selling this one for $20, framed, oil painting, original. And then I was thinking, okay, well, that old guy doing paintings, probably he loves what he does, but really struggling for financially, you can see this one is just $20. Then think about myself that, I'm working inside and mark people and still making money more than him, then just makes me humble. So just as a reminder, I put it in my wall here. Some of the people, my clients, looking at this one whole time when they're getting tattooed. So yeah, it's a reminder and it's always here. Basically, I collected tattoo from the people that I was looking up to. So, all these tattoo, I like those, tattoos that I have, everything. But,
so you'd contact an artist that you like? Then you get
that's right, yeah, that's a great way to learn about what you want to learn. Also, for me, I was getting tattooed by the people that I was looking up to, and I learned that way. So just observe how they do color theory and stuff like that, and then I apply to my skill, and that's how I learned.
What's your favorite tattoo on your body?
I like my little face tattoo here. It's just personal meaning tattoos.
Okay, so
Yeah.
it's private. It's not.
Yeah. That's why the font that I wrote is just not really readable.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I like my palm tattoos. Those are little simple tattoos, but one of my favorite. It's a Korean pattern, so traditional pattern type deal. Yeah. Top is from Japan. Shige. The artist name is Shige. It's a dragon really like also. And yeah, this one made my mom cry a lot too.
Why?
Well,
in Japanese.
no, it's not because it's Japanese. It's, you know, really visible and really hardcore. Like I said, I hid my tattoos for a decade on my full body. So at first half sleeve I showed them, and then second time when I showed them my tattoo, I had a full bodysuit already. And then my mom just like, you know, she was just crying and, you know, like made her, you know, really, really sad. And then that was a short visit. She was here for like 2 weeks or something like that. And then she was in shock already because I had a full bodysuit, right? But then the end of that 2 weeks, just night before she left, I said, Mom, I'm gonna get head tattooed. And then she was like, what the fuck? You fucking crazy, you crazy. Fuck off, you know, you're just like trying to disown. And also like she was crying so bad and my dad was really upset. And my plan was I was getting my head tattoo just like within the 6 months period of time, but then I had to postpone like 3-4 years, just like calm them down a little bit, and then
So you had to wait a while.
I just waited a little
got
bit
it
more.
eventually.
I got it eventually. I can just get naked, probably just show, yeah.
Why would your mom be angry with that?
I don't know. It looks pretty, right? Well, yeah, I don't know. It's just like, I guess it's pretty hardcore. Even if when like the end of it, I probably told them I have tattoos, but then like knowing that I have tattoo and actually seeing in person, that impact is different, right? So like you don't see lots of people fully tattooed like me, and when they see me for the first time, you know, it's kind of like eye-opening or shocking for them. I don't see myself tattooed actually. Like even if you look in the mirror, it just becomes part of you. So you don't actually see the tattoos. You see you. That's it. But other people see me, and then they see tattoos first. I think. Yeah. So they're more like, oh, like surprise. Your body's colorful and things.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is called Sachonwang, Korean Buddhism god. There are 4 gods that protecting the sky is in Korean Buddhism way. So this is just one of them. They're protecting the 4 sides of the sky, and usually they are located in the main door of the temple. So when you go into the temple, they're actually there to protect the temple as well. My armpits tattooed, and one of the biggest tattoo, well, I guess I have only one tattoo on my body, but my back piece, that is also the guy did in Japan, who did my head, same guy did my back piece, and the back piece coming from shoulder to back of my knees, or one piece, and that one took me about 5 years, back and forth from Canada to Japan. I did 2 days back-to-back session. The most days that I took was 4 days back-to-back sessions, and maybe at least 2 to 4 times a year. And I did it for 5 years to finish it. There are multiple artists. Some of them are my friends. Some of them are the people that I'm looking up to. So this sleeve, this skull, Nick Chabuya did it from US. Randy Engelhardt from Germany. Jeff Gogwe from US. and my head and my back piece, Shige in Japan. James Tex in Calgary. This is also Jeff Gogwe. And some of my leg pieces, Damian Robertson, some reputable people. And one thing I wanted to mention about this blackout calf piece, when I started tattooing, there's no one to practice, so I just started practicing on myself. So there's so many layers underneath here. So I practice and then practice again, and at the end it was just a big mess. So I just black it out just to make it clean. So now it's all black. And then these ones I practice on me too earlier days. So sitting down and just practice on me here, looking in the mirror and
It must be difficult to tattoo your leg.
Yeah, it's definitely not easy because you know exactly when needle's going into you. So I started with this shoulder piece here, which is covered with my half sleeve. When I did my half sleeve, it's covered. And then I did a full sleeve, and at that point I was like, start thinking about, I want to get more tattoos, so like I just gotta stay here kind of stuff.
The decision to live in Canada happened because you wanted more tattoos.
Yeah, sorta. Because tattooing is illegal in Korea, but my parents were working for government.
Oh.
So that was kind of the main reason that I tried to stay here, because my parents have a good reputation as a government worker, but then son going into the country and doing illegal shit, is just not cool for them. Even though it's not like illegal, it's more like getting popular and everything. Everybody does it, everybody know people are doing it, but then it's still illegal from the previous verdict. They're saying only doctors or people who have doctor's license, because we are using needles, only they can do it. I'm gonna get naked now and show you around. So that's the back piece.
Alright, I'm gonna zoom right in on your butt cheeks. It's got hind legs.
Yeah, it's all shishi. It's the leg here, face here, around here I think. Just full bodysuit itself was a journey. Everything, you need money to do it, you need time to do it, you need pain tolerance to do it, and it is really, commitment. So good tattoo or shitty tattoo doesn't really matter. If you have a full body tattoo, that's a respect.